Right. 12th January 2026. And today I'm excited to be giving you the Monday morning update. And today we've got so much to cover. So we have to move very fast. And I'm going to start with the key events that are going to take place today. So today, Chiwenga is his last day as acting president of Zimbabwe. So from tomorrow, Mohadi will take over as the acting president of Zimbabwe. And that is going to be very interesting. We have seen Chiwenga having a very eventful 13 days as acting president. Then the AFCON games are going to be played on the 14th. So on Wednesday, we have the AFCON games being played, and that is the semi-final matches are going to be played, and I'll give you the teams as we go through this last stage here, so that you can know which teams are going to be playing. Then we've got a big development that is taking place overnight while you guys were sleeping. The United States President Donald Trump has announced that Iran has asked for a negotiation. So Iran leaders have called the President of the United States of America and want to negotiate. So as you are aware, there were fears that there will be some sort of fight taking place. However, President Trump was on his plane and he has explained that the Iranians have called to negotiate. So let me give you a quick play of this.
They do. They called.
They called you? Is it still
Yesterday.
an option? Is it still an option?
Iran called to negotiate.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. The leaders of Iran called. They want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States.
Are you serious?
Okay, so that is that. That war is averted, or someone is going to be removed, because there is a lot of people that have been killed overnight. There is massive protests taking place in Iran right now. And so look forward to something big happening between today and Friday. There's going to be something very big happening in Iran. And I know that most of you have been watching what has been happening in that region. So it's going to be very big, and watch out very carefully. Then the president of Malawi has reached 100 days in office. So that is his 100 days in office yesterday. And that is after his election. It's moved so fast and so quickly. So now let's go into the news, and then we'll go to the newspapers. As I said, we've got so much to cover. We've got over 200 newspapers to review every morning. Let's start with the education. So what we've done is that because all the universities in Zimbabwe are opening, we are going to be posting all the adverts for all the courses. So we've done NUST, we've done ZEGU, we've done BUSE, and we've done most of the other colleges, Harare Polytechnic. So if you've got a child who is studying, you can go to Gambakwe.com or to our Facebook page. Then you'll be able to see what are the available courses for your child over there. If you don't get it, you can also go to the websites of the universities, but I will try my best to make sure that you get everything that you need. It's important for your child to go into university. And as I mentioned, we are going to be working on something very big by the end of this month. I'm going to make a big announcement on AI, but we're also going to make a big announcement on the AFM in Zimbabwe, the plans that we have for that. So I'll let you guys know over there. Right, let's go to the newspapers. We are going to start with what is happening in the H Metro newspaper. And in fact, let's not do that, because I know that most of you are waiting for the headline. Let's do the headline. So the South African soldiers have entered Zimbabwe. So yesterday, South African soldiers were filmed. So this is when this video started to show up in the morning. South African soldiers were seen entering Zimbabwe, and they were on the side of Zimbabwe as part of their patrol of the Beitbridge border, which is also the Limpopo River. So they entered the Zimbabwe side. And the explanation they gave is that as they were using their boat stalled and they had to move to the Zimbabwe bank because they were not able to start the boat when it was on the inside the water. So the reason why they've entered into the river is because there's massive corruption on the South African side. So people are being allowed to pass into South Africa from Zimbabwe by both the officials at the border and also the Border Management Authority. Because of the extreme corruption there, they are being allowed to pass. So the soldiers are now patrolling and they're turning people back. So they're turning Zimbabweans back into Zimbabwe, and that is helped. However, there are only 2 boats and people are just waiting for them to go down the river. Then they use their own boats to cross. And then when they get to the other side, the Zimbabweans have dropped off people. The soldiers are coming, and then they try to chase after the Zimbabwean boat of the smugglers. And that is how they end up on the other side of the boat, of the bank, the Zimbabwean bank, because they're trying to chase the Zimbabwean smugglers who have taken people on the other side. And because they're on the boat, they can't get out. Because if they get out, how are they going to patrol? So the soldiers are being played cat and mouse by the Zimbabwean smugglers. And therefore, at this particular point, they decided to chase after the Zimbabweans into Zimbabwe. So these are the smugglers, and the boats, their boats obviously ended up on the Zimbabwe side. Zimbabwean soldiers were nowhere to be found. There is no one patrolling on the Zimbabwe side. The Zimbabwean soldiers don't come to the border. I don't know where they are. Most of the time, they're sitting in that little house at the bridge. So I don't know if that is where they're supposed to sit. But this is the situation right now. And let me just quickly show you a video of what has happened. So I want to unpack the problem so that you understand what is happening. There's a big problem at the border. So there might be a bit of bad language, so I won't play a lot. Just a second.
This is not your side. Yes.
Right. I just wanted to show you where they were. They were right on the Zimbabwe side. And the reason why they were there is because they were chasing after those same guys who were saying, that is not your side. So what has happened here is part of the biggest problem that is happening at the border. The army has got no arresting powers, so they can't arrest the Zimbabweans. The Border Management Authority, they have arresting powers. But the Border Management Authority is now part of the corruption at Beitbridge. So the soldiers are left to do what soldiers do, which is to react. And you have seen some of the videos here of what was happening. Right, so that is the South African soldiers trying to manage the situation, trying to deal with what is on the ground. So we've seen them making people roll. We've seen them detaining people. But what happens is as soon as the soldier hands the person over to BMA or to the people who are at customs or the people who are at immigration, within an hour, that same person is back on the Zimbabwean bank. So that is because of corruption. The massive corruption at Beitbridge is the problem. And the soldiers, there's nothing they can do about it. Because a soldier, a normal soldier in South Africa won't take a bribe. I don't know about other places, but I know that in South Africa, they won't take bribes. But the BMA and the immigration are taking bribes at the border. How do I know this thing? Yesterday, another bus was impounded. This bus had 100 people. And this is yesterday, the 11th, in the afternoon. In Gauteng, it had already arrived with 100 people. It was overloaded. And on top of that, it did not have a permit. So that is one bus. There was a taxi which was impounded with children, again, in the same area. And then that is on top of the 35 people who were in the taxi yesterday who didn't have documents. So the guys at the Beitbridge border who are in immigration and who are at BMA are part of the corruption. That is why a bus can pass without a permit. if a bus can cross from Zimbabwe through the border with 100 people and without a permit, and these people are just going, the 1,000 have also crossed. So BMA, as I said, is not fit for purpose, and they are part of the problem there at the Beitbridge. So this kind of situation that has happened here, it means that a solution is required and a solution is needed urgently. And as I proposed, the only solution is the wall. So if you don't put a wall at Beitbridge, you're gonna have a lot of problems. So the wall is the solution, not the soldiers. So the soldiers are not supposed to be patrolling like this. It's supposed to be probably police at this particular point where they are. They should be police there, not soldiers or BMA, because BMA by the end of this month they will be given arresting powers. So the BMA will be given arresting powers, and 500 BMA are supposed to be appointed at Beitbridge. However, that has not happened. So on top of the police issue, you've got operational issues at Beitbridge, and unfortunately it's spilling over, and I don't know how they're going to handle it. I know that the South Africans have not issued a statement, but the BMA has issued a statement and said, and explained that, like I said, that the boat stalled, and that's how they ended up on the Zimbabwe side. So just to explain, so that you understand, the South Africans were indeed on the Zimbabwean bank, and they were giving chasing the smugglers who jumped back into Zimbabwe. And once they're in Zimbabwe, the soldiers can't do anything. Otherwise, it now becomes a military issue. 2 years ago, the South African army had to shoot into Zimbabwe. And I showed you that video 2 years ago, where there was some sort of exchange of fire at the border because of such issues, with the South African blaming, and that was Motsoaledi at that time, blaming the Zimbabwean soldiers of just watching and leaving this whole thing to play out, whereas they're also supposed to play a part. So when a Zimbabwean soldier sees someone crossing the border with a boat, they're not just supposed to stand there and watch. They're supposed to stop the people from crossing. But the Zimbabwean guys are not stopping people from crossing. So I think that is a good explanation of the situation, which is a bad situation which has taken place between the Zimbabwe National Army, the South African National Defense Force, and the smugglers at the border, resulting in them crossing over into Zimbabwe. However, at Mozambique, if a smuggler or a criminal runs into Mozambique, the Zimbabwean police especially intelligence, are allowed to cross into Mozambique. They can chase you into Mozambique. I've seen it happening when I was in Mozambique. One guy crossed over. They just opened the border and they gave chase all the way into Mozambique. And when they arrest, then they deal with it on that side. But here the problem is it's in the bush, and you don't see any Zimbabwean boat here at all. However, if you go to Kariba, the Zimbabwean guys do patrol the lake, the military of Zimbabwe. So I don't know why they don't have a boat here at Limpopo. Okay, I think that is covered. So now we understand what happened. Let's go into other news. The top news that we have today is the death of footballer. So our footballer here, Frankson Bushiri, has passed away in Gweru yesterday. He had a terrible accident where he went into a tree and his car was split into two. So this was a terrible accident and he passed away at the scene. He was on his way to Wange, where he was supposed to go for trials. You can go and find details on Gambakwe.com. And then we have got a big story with Tungwarara, the advisor of Mnangagwa. He's been yesterday around, as I said, on the 11th, he did have a function. Tungwarara is somehow appearing to be launching a campaign. So I don't know what is the campaign that is launching and what is the purpose. So Tungwarara is out there launching a campaign. And then there's a big announcement regarding a mall that is going to be constructed in Zimbabwe. So that is the Mall of Zimbabwe. It's going to be the biggest mall in Zimbabwe. It is going to be worth 100 million, or in rands, 2 billion runs. So a mall that is going to be constructed at Borodale, and the people who are going to be building this mall is a South African company called McCormick Property Development, MPD, in partnership with Westprop. They are going to build one of the massive malls, and already space has been taken up in this mall. Currently in Zimbabwe, there are no malls. So what you have are little things that are even not a corner mall. If you're in South Africa, they're not even a corner mall. So if you look at Harare, Westgate is probably the biggest mall that we have. But this is going to be a massive mall that is going to be built at Borodale. So if you're in Borodale, look out, traffic is coming. So you're going to have a lot of traffic over there at Borodale. But this is massive. There's also other malls that are under construction. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. I'll just take you through all the malls that are under construction. But there is nothing of this nature at the moment, which is planned. This is big. So this is going to be the biggest mall in Zimbabwe. And the construction is going to start by the 1st of March. And then already occupation is at 60%. So 60% of occupation has already been, or people have already taken up occupation as it is. And then let's go to a sad situation that has taken place in Masvingo. So one of the chiefs in Masvingo is called Chief Murinye. Chief Murinye is a cousin of Mnangagwa or an uncle of Mnangagwa. Yesterday, he's caused a massive scene after blocking more than, I can say, 1,000 people from crossing the road. So Chief Murinye blocked this man, Philemon Mtangiri, who opened a school, and he blocked him with his car so that he could not cross. And the reason why he was closing out this path is because he's saying Philemon, who is built a new school, must allow his children to study for free. So the police had to intervene, and that is after 3 hours of blockage. That is when the school, people who were in the school, were allowed to get out. So Chief Murinye, as a chief, was saying some very harsh words. However, I saw that Mtangiri was also saying some harsh words. So there was an exchange of harsh words between the two men. Here, so you can see all the cars that were blocked here. And this appears to be a dispute that goes beyond what we can see. So I want to show you, there's just a bit of bad language here, so I need to move past that bit here. So here is the chief fighting with the subject here.
I don't mind. Majaira, yazuza vanhu. Ndakapiwa namasabu kwakandipa mapepa aripo. Ndakapiwa 30 hectares.
Okay, you can go and check that out. It's a bad situation and it doesn't look good at all. So many people involved. It was a scene yesterday. The school was ordered not to open. So they ordered the school not to open. Thousands of kids from all over the country came over here. And unfortunately, this standoff was only diffused by the police. I wonder if there's no minister who can make a call when such a thing happened, because it's embarrassing to see this in public. Then let's quickly go through the newspapers. As I said, we're going to start with the H Metro newspaper, one of our favorite newspapers. H Metro newspaper is leading with the story of a lawsuit. So in Zimbabwe, if you tell lies about someone, there's something called the cyber security law and cyber bullying. So overnight, the report has been made by H Metro that the Nyati family have sued Louisa. So Louisa is one of the socialites in Zimbabwe. She's been sued by the Nyati family. So they did not go to report a criminal case. They opened a case for her in South Africa because she is in South Africa. And this is after she made allegations that Nyati, or the young man, Gilbert Nyamanindi, was was financially abusing his wife, not giving her money. He was also having multiple girlfriends, not allowing her to go into the car, and he has infected her with some sort of disease from this whole situation. So they have said she must withdraw everything that she said because it's lies. So it's both of them have gone to call to their lawyers in South Africa and say she must withdraw. She's got audios that she's been playing of the wife talking, and they've said that she must stop immediately from releasing those videos and audios. So she's no longer allowed to release those audios. You can go and watch everything. It's there on DJ Ola, and I can see that it's got quite a substantial amount of views. So that lawsuit has happened already, and let's see how it goes. In South Africa, you can pay a lot of money if you do such a thing. You can be made to pay a lot of money. Then in business, John Mangunja is going to be making an address on the 30th of January. He's going to be at the Harare Institute of Technology. So mark this date, and I'll put this on Gambakwe. And Zim Papers is going to be sponsoring this public lecture by John Panonetsa Mangunja, the former Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe governor. And this is going to be an explanation of Mutapa. So they're going to be talking about Mutapa blueprint, the Mutapa blueprint, investing in Zimbabwe's sovereignty and growth. So he is a CEO of a fund and is giving a public lecture. I don't know how that works. Normally, these lectures are given by people in a political position or people at a higher level, because I don't think Mangunja understands the strategy as it is. He is more like an appointee. That is what is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to go over there. I'm really interested to see what happens to Mutapa. I believe that the whole thing is going to collapse on itself. Then let's go to South Africa. The biggest story in the business day to day is the cars. So the new numbers of cars which were sold in South Africa are out, and they are telling. So South Africa now has a deficit or a trade gap with China of 136 billion rands. The total value of cars coming into South Africa from China is 300 billion rands, while South Africa is selling 160 billion rands to China of cars. There are 330,000 jobs that have been exported to China, with 374,000 cars coming from China into South Africa. And as it stands right now, South Africa exported only 408,000 cars, which is a decline, so a massive decline, because 50% of all cars in South Africa are now Haval, Jetor, Omoda, Cherry, or Bike. And then in terms of the United States of America, there has been a 13 billion slump in the number of cars going to the United States after the introduction of 30% tariff. And then South Africa is importing 332 billion worth of cars from Europe. That is the Benz, VW, and all that. And they are selling 302 billion over there to Europe. So in terms of jobs, in South Africa is got nearly 1 million jobs supported by Africa, 600,000 supported by EU, and 330,000 jobs are supported by China. However, they've exported to China 374,000 jobs. So that is crazy. And that is the situation right now. The Chinese are taking over. And when you look at their car, so I was displaying their car here, this car here. This car is so cheap and it's so big. And that's not only it. if you look at their bakkies, if you look at their 4x4s, they are so advanced. If you go inside there, it's crazy. So I don't know how the South Africans are going to do it, but these cars are now 50% of every single car in the South African showroom. And that is losing so many jobs over here in South Africa. And in Zimbabwe, I haven't seen much of this. I don't think there's a showroom yet in Zimbabwe for this. But once these cars start coming, then it becomes a big problem. However, Toyota is still the biggest brand in South Africa. The biggest numbers ever sold are still Toyota. So although the Chinese are selling, Toyota is still the biggest selling car here in South Africa. Okay, I think I've covered most of the newspapers. Let me see if there's another newspaper which I haven't covered. In Malawi, so Malawi is very interesting. Let me show you what has happened in Malawi. So Malawi has produced their numbers of debt today, how much public debt they've got. So their finance minister is called Joseph Mwanamveka. He has produced the result of how much debt Malawi has got. And public debt right now currently stands at 22.4 million kwacha. Trillion, sorry. 22.4 trillion kwacha. That is how much debt they've got in Malawi. You can go and check it over there. Malawi is going through a lot. They've got a massive drought. And they've started to import maize from Zambia. So let's go to the Herald newspaper very quickly. And then we'll go to other newspapers. As I said, today, I'm going to be very busy. And we've got the opening of the judiciary. So the judiciary year is opening today. We're going to see Chief Justice Malaba making his last speech today. That is the last public speech by Chief Justice Luke Malaba, who is retiring at 75 years old. So watch very carefully what he says. And also Mnangagwa is going through to his last year. So it's very, very interesting what is going to happen. Mnangagwa is going into his last year as the leader of ZANU-PF. So in 2027, there's going to be a new leader of ZANU-PF. So let's see what happens. We are going through a lot as a country. We're going to have a big, big change taking place. And then obviously Mnangagwa is over there at the front. Let's see what else is of interest. School ready for first term. So today schools are opening on the first term. Is it today or tomorrow? Normally it's Tuesdays. So I don't know, check it out. And then we say back to school parents guidance see off learners yesterday as the 2026 secondary school year begins tomorrow. Yes, that's correct. Tuesday, schools in Zimbabwe open on a Tuesday. And then let's see what else is in this newspaper, which I can share with you. Invitation for expression of interest. I've posted this on Gambakwe. If you don't have access to the newspaper, go to the Gambakwe Facebook page. And if you want to be a director in a government department, go to our Facebook page. We've posted this advert for you. And then let me see if there's anything else of interest. Let's see that graphic over there. So in this graphic, Zimbabwe's sovereign wealth manager, Mutapa Investment Fund, published its first annual report and set of financial statements. So you can go and check it out. I've already given you an update on it. They have a massive loss that they've made. So they've only generated 1 billion and they need 15 billion. So that is a gap of 14 billion by Mutapa over there. And I don't think I'll waste more time. Professor Gift Mugano is now the spokesperson or advisor or celebrity influencer for Mutapa. So we're going to be watching very carefully what he says, and I'll be updating you. Zimbabwe's economy has collapsed. Let me tell you, the economy has collapsed, and it needs a new plan. So Mnangagwa needs to come back with a new plan when he comes back. Otherwise, this year, it's going to be so bad. If gold was not up like this, Zimbabwe was going to be down, because 70% of everything happening in Zimbabwe is because of gold. If there was no gold at these high prices, Zimbabwe would have collapsed by now. Then let's look at Matabeleland's GDP. Matabeleland North GDP is 3 billion. Yes, that's possible. Matabeleland is the biggest place in terms of gold. So when you look at all the minerals coming out of Zimbabwe, so I want you guys to understand how gold is distributed in Zimbabwe. So coming from Midlands, to Bulawayo, to Bubi, that area around there. The amount of gold that comes out of that area is almost 60% of all the gold in Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe's gold is catering for 7 billion. Sorry, no, not 7 billion. I don't know why the number 7 billion is coming to me. So Zimbabwe's gold is catering for 70% of all the foreign currency inflows into the country. So the foreign currency inflows from the diaspora is now less than gold. So gold is now the bigger chunk of what is coming in. And that money is coming from Matebeleland North. That is the place where the money is. And none of that money comes back into Matebeleland. So that devolution need to happen. And the people of Matebeleland don't even know that they've got so much money coming in. And then let's go to what else is over here. Residents take safety into their own hands. Yes, do that because unofira mahara. And then let's see what Barbara is saying. Barbara Rodzi, Minister Barbara Rodzi. Entrepreneurship drives new growth trajectory in Zimbabwe's tourism. Guys, what is happening in Zimbabwe is so sad. There is a family right now. So I want you to see this family. I'm going to feature them soon. There is a family who are being thrown out of their farm, of their conservancy, right now as you speak. That is a Chewore Lodge and campsite. So if you go to Chewore Lodge and campsite, they are currently, someone is throwing them out of their land. And I'm going to find those guys. And then we're going to talk to them. So Barbara, I hope she's watching. And maybe, I don't know who, this person in Zimbabwe who just finds someone is invested and they remove them from their land. So we'll see what we can do. But the guys in Zimbabwe must just stop because this is giving us a bad image as a country. And then you can see that here there's no adverts for any new university or anything, intake. So as soon as we get an intake, I'll give you guys the intake. Okay, I think that's covered. Who is this beautiful couple? That is Dr. Menas Musongelwa receives his Impact Award. So go and check out Dr. Menas Musongelwa. I don't know what he won, but it seems like Dr. Menas Musongelwa wins award for educational innovation. Life coach and author Dr. Menas Musongelwa is over the moon after his initiatives and contribution to Zimbabwe's education system earned him the award. So go check him out. I don't know him. I've never seen him. And I hope that we can feature him at some point. All right, I think we've covered all the Zimbabwe newspapers. Which one is left? H Metro we did Herald, we did Chronicle. And then let's look quickly at the Star newspaper before we go to our people. So the Star newspaper of South Africa is the biggest circulating Gauteng newspaper. And normally they have something very interesting every morning. Let's see at the South African youths. They're saying they're not lazy. We are not lazy. Youths hit back at Mandashe. Yes, South African youths are not lazy. They are not capacitated. So let me tell you what I always say. And it's not funny. Don't laugh. When I say, have you ever seen a South African man building a house? I am not lying. If you say, let's build a house here, they won't be able to build it. If you say, let's fix a car, they won't be able to fix it. If you say, let's paint the house, they won't be able to paint it. So they are not capacitated. What Mugabe did, so maybe the South Africans don't know how Zimbabweans got skilled. What Mugabe did in 1980 is that as soon as the Zimbabwean gained independence, they created colleges at every growth point and at every center. So like in my village, there's a place called Chikuku village, shopping center. There was a place there where people were being taught how to build, how to do carpentry, how to do welding. So there was a whole bunch of people who were trained to do this work that you're seeing them doing here. So the South African youngsters cannot do it. And that is also to do with IT. They don't have the IT skills. They don't have the accounting skills. So it's not that they're lazy. And to top it up, the guys who work in government, they know what I'm talking about. Over 40% of all managerial and up position in government departments are filled with acting or are vacant. They don't have people to fill those positions. They don't have the qualifications. So the South African government has been collapsing on itself. So currently, as we speak, there is very little happening in the South African government. And the corruption is a pandemic. Because if you employ someone who's not qualified, the first thing that they're going to do is how much can I steal before I leave? So there is so much corruption taking place. That is why you see that the BMA, it was appointed to do something. When they go to Beitbridge, they just join the corruption that is happening there. And it's in every way. So in every place you go in South Africa, it's corruption. It's a filthy corruption. I don't even want to say it's corruption. Like 99% corruption in the Zimbabwe, in the South African government. It's such a mess. I've never seen such corruption in my whole life. And then let's go into other things. So the results are out. So that is the matric results are out. These are some of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. Look at our young lady, Mukundi Mudzingwa, over here. Mukundi Mudzingwa, 17-year-old Mukundi Mudzingwa, has concluded his matric year, marking the end of an intense and demanding journey. So let's see. At one point, I even wrote 4 papers within 24 hours. It was exhausting, but I persevered. So if you see yourself in front of this newspaper, you have done so well. And we always have a young Zimbabwean here. It's not possible. Every single year, we've got a young Zimbabwean at the front here. People pay a lot of money, guys, for school fees. Like these people deserve it. Like I know people who are paying 20,000 rands a month for school fees. These kids are finishing people's money. Yeah, so that is what is happening. And then they end up passing. And then when they pass, they go overseas. So that's amazing. Good job to these youngsters who have just concluded their matric and got the matric year. All right, I think we've covered everything here. There's nothing else that I think I need to cover except for people. What is in Sowetan? In Sowetan, there is families pushed to the brink. Overwhelmed parents say household incomes do not match the budget needed for uniforms. That's what I was just saying. School fees is killing people. I don't know what to do with school fees. It's like the worst thing that can ever happen to you, especially when you've got twins like me. And then mom and daughter lose 300K in RDP house scam. I think you can go and check out these newspapers. Let's go to our people. We go to whoever is published. Let's see. Okay. There is Hopo. I wish to warn anyone using someone else's picture without their consent that they will be punished. That is after someone went on X and changed the picture of someone. So go and read what Hopo is saying here. It's very important. And then let's look at who else. Who else is here? Minnie. Minnie, she's amazing. I like Minnie. So let's see what she said here. She says, have you listened to this beautiful prayer and declaration for Zimbabwe by Jonah Chivasa? And Chivara is a secondary school. Is it a song? Let's see. I can't play songs because I don't have copyright. Then let's go to who else? President Maboko. President Maboko is amazing. He's back from his birthday celebration. And he attended a funeral. So you can go. Yesterday, I joined the Morubitsi family to mourn the loss of their beloved son. Before his passing, this young boy wrote me a letter of encouragement as a selfless act of hope from a brave heart. President Maboko, good job. And then let's see President Hakainde Hichilema is facing an election and he's the most loved president in this region. So Zambia is doing so well under President Hakainde Hichilema. He's campaigning. We acknowledge that every victory is born of your grace and sustained by your hand. So that is President Hakainde Hichilema doing so well in Zambia. And then on X, we go and see Chamisa, homeboy wangu. Chamisa has been doing so well. And in 2026, you are going to see the rise of Chamisa. So that is Chief Murinya there. I'm not going to play Chief Murinya again. So Chamisa Where are you, my homeboy? Chamisa. Uriere Chamisa. Same picture like before. And then let's go to First Lady of Zimbabwe. That is, she's always busy with helping people. She's going to do so well when they retire next year. She's going to retire and go because Shawane, not Kubikita. And then let's look at who else did I leave? Sanyatwe. Okay, Sanyatwe, where's Sanyatwe? That account does not exist. Sanyatwe. Okay, Lieutenant General retired Ambassador, Comrade Anslim Sanyatwe. Okay, nothing there today. So I think we've covered everything. Let us recap and let us see where we are today. So we've said the South African Army, South African National Defence Force, was forced to go into Zimbabwe after Zimbabweans smugglers went into South Africa. So once they chased them into Zimbabwe, the smugglers then started throwing stones at them. That is because they only have 2 boats, and the Zimbabwean smugglers wait for the South Africans to go down river. They cross to their people and leave them on the other side. And as they were coming back, they were chased by the South African boats who wanted to arrest them. But then they got to their side and then started to throw stones at the South Africans. This is because of the corruption on the side of the Zimbabwean, the South African side, BMA, and also immigration at the Beitbridge. They are allowing people to cross there into South Africa. Yesterday, a bus was impounded with 100 people with no permit. How did that bus pass over there? A day ago, 35 people with no IDs, with no passports, were caught on the Gauteng side. So everyone on that path is corrupt. How do you get to Joburg with such a situation? So don't blame anyone else. Blame yourself for the situation in South Africa. And we want the situation at Beitbridge to be sorted. That border must be fixed. Money must be made. People must be able to travel without dealing with illegals over there. We need that to be addressed. And corruption, we don't want it. Corruption is evil. So I want it to be clear for the guys who are at Beitbridge and the guys who are in BMA. You got such a big responsibility, and I don't know why they don't fix themselves. Now the army has to go and address everything. So on the 14th, we've got the matches that are taking place over here. So let me just take myself out. Maybe you guys want to take a screenshot. So we've got Senegal versus Egypt, and we've got Nigeria versus Morocco. Guys, the Nigerian team is amazing. So I've never seen a team like the Nigerians. And now that they're playing Morocco, it's gonna be bad. So watch out for tomorrow, not tomorrow, for Wednesday. You've never seen what is going to happen. It's gonna be such a big thing that is going to happen over there. And then let's look at our sponsors, Fixly. So Fixly is our sponsor. If you are in Zimbabwe, South Africa, UK, and you want someone to fix your plumbing, electricity, if you want someone to paint your house or build your house or to do any service, download the app called Fixly, and then they will be able to come over there and fix it for you, and it will be accredited. If something goes wrong, you can call me and I'll make sure that they address it. So that is Fixly over there. Download the app Fixly, and it's amazing. That app is amazing. Then let's go to second sponsor, Mve. So this is Mve, and it does a good job. So Mve does a good job. Usatongwe nema salad, and we're adding this thing here, the second herb. So 2 herbs for free. So you get this herb, this second herb for free. This is Shaka Zulu. So Shaka Zulu. So get one for yourself. That is for Valentine's Day. And what you do is in the morning. So in the morning, on an empty stomach, you take 1 teaspoon of that and 1 tablespoon of that. And then in the evening, about an hour before bed, you take the same. So that you do for 10 days, and then you call me and say, you tell me Zulu Famba say, especially when you go on like Valentine's date. Then jokes aside, you know that we've been holding prayers for the past 10 days, and we are going to 30 days. Gambakwe is going to 30 days. The AFM in Zimbabwe is the only church in Zimbabwe with no university, no nothing. The only thing the AFM in Zimbabwe has got are Bibles. That is going to change. So we're coming up with a new plan. And what we're planning to do is we want to work on a fund. So I'll let you guys know. The first thing that we want to do, and I'm announcing it here today so that you guys know, we want to work on a university for the AFM in Zimbabwe, which will become sort of like a base for everything. So I'm going to work with the number of people. And if you're a member of the AFM in Zimbabwe, listen very carefully to what I'm saying. Our AFM, I don't attend every day, but I want you guys to obviously get this. And this has been revealed to me. Our AFM is the only church where your child doesn't have an AFM school or an AFM university or an AFM company or an AFM soccer team or an AFM mall. There is no business acumen in the church. So we want to work on it, and we're going to be working on a plan. At first, it will be like a voluntary structure, and then we're going to create something formal. So I'll let you guys know how we're going to do it. It's not going to be church-based. It's going to be for people who are in the church, but it won't be in the church. Because we know who is Kapindirwanema pastor. So when fasting, do you take a veil? Unfortunately, my fast is a dry fast. So during my fast, I don't eat anything, 6 to 6. So I don't take anything. But my friend, if you take a veil after a fast, one of you, so don't do it. Because one, Gambakwe speak a lot. Gambakwe speak a lot. Yes, that took a one veil after a fast. I'm just a bow. No quarrel. What 100 million more? Who are the owners of that more? Zugananda is not, yes, Zugananda. That is that guy, Zugananda. He's a Zugananda. SSO just take bribes at the Motsamo and the Ngwenya border. They take as little as 20 rand. So sad. Guys, I hate corruption. There's nothing I hate like corruption. Like, the reason why our African countries are a mess is because of corruption. I have been to places where corruption is so bad that the people allow the situation to go so bad. They watch someone struggling in a hospital and they've stolen the money. Let's fix this corruption business. Let's stop corruption, guys, especially the borders. Beitbridge is a mess. That border should be quick. You should be able to go to Beitbridge. You bring your tourists, you pass there and you go. And there should be a massive town there on the Zimbabwe side. Right now, we are busy chasing each other with a bag of sugar. That is so sad. Zimbabwe and South Africa. What a mess. All right. Mkoma, Colin, exactly. You got my words. They don't patrol Limpopo River because they want Zimbabweans in South Africa. That's correct. Mnangagwa must take responsibility. We don't want people crossing without being checked. People must go on the river, and they must put a big passport office there so that people can go on the river. We don't want this thing that is happening right there. All right, I would like to thank all of you for watching. Let me see if my person is published. One of my favorite people, she has published. So go check it out. She's in America. So that is Ranga Mpofu. She's gone now. So shout out to Ranga. She's published a lot. She's studying a master's in America. She moved from China. Look how beautiful she's looking. After America for 2 days, I don't know. Because she was in China, she was slim. But now look at it. After only a few days in China, in America, from China, she's now looking like that. So that is Rangampov. Go check it out over there. And you'll see all her journey that she's got over there. She goes to gym a lot. And then obviously, Wicknow's marriage is facing problems. So his former wife, has posted some cryptic messages yesterday, and she posted the picture of the family. She said they're facing marriage issues. So she says here, who had their ex pack 3 nights in a row outside the yard less than a month ago, we don't tell women how dangerous it is to walk away. So the real facade is that some people are still legally married and are refusing to settle. Watch what you see and read online, folks. I should go deeper. Who had their ex-pack? So that is a repeat. For now, I have been kind and patient. Sonja, they failed to realize that her silence allowed their facade to exist. So Sonja Mazikanda, she doesn't hold back. She's saying that there is marriage problems in Wicknow's marriage. One of these had a partner who parked their car for 3 days in front of the house. So go check that out. I think she's deleted it, but some people got it. So I'd like to thank all of you for watching. It's been amazing. I'll see you guys a little bit later. And let's hope that everything goes well in our world. There is so much war coming. And a good... I wanted to just say, watch 3i Atlas, what it's doing. It has stopped. So it has done something crazy. So go check out the videos of 3i Atlas. I'll let you guys know that comet that was traveling, it suddenly stopped. So let's see what's happening with that. And a good day to you all.